So I've been a little slack on the influencing side lately. So here we are with an important message. We're going to talk about glute activation. So the other day, someone said to me, do I do muscle activation technique because their glutes just aren't firing? And then I've had some other sort of working with athletes. And I think the easiest way to think about glutes is that you need to make the shape of a glute engagement rather than try to make the glutes engage. Or if you think that, somehow you contract your glute and you move forward, it's not really how it works. What happens is if you make the right shape, the glute will engage. The glutes are interesting. There's quite a lot of them. There's about 7 on either side, okay? But what happens is when your knee's in front of your hip and I contract my glute, my leg tends to externally rotate. But when my knee's behind my hip and your glutes contract, they tend to translate your femur down and basically extend and internally rotate. So it's almost like they got 2 gears, like you're a hybrid or a gas car. You got 2 modes, right? So a lot of people, if you just tense your glute, so if I just squeeze my buttock, my hip should pop forward because that's the same as if I'm walking, that's your contralateral gait, and I should press down and go forward. So a glute squeeze should be something like, if I just engage my glute, this hip should lift up and my belly button should turn towards my leg. And a lot of the time we're doing rehab in the exact opposite pattern. So you can find that if you sort of have your leg in front of you and you squeeze your glute, your foot wants to turn outwards. But in reality, for gait and for running, we want a glute that squeezes and it turns inwards. So you basically, if you make this shape, if you leave your heel down, get your knee behind your hip and your heel on the ground and you squeeze your glute, then that's what should happen. Okay, your hip should kick forward. Your hip should kick forward. That's why we do happy hip hack. You could squeeze your glute. It really helps if you lift your shoulder away from your hip and if you step down into your heel. So that's a great way to activate your glute. But I really encourage you to think along the lines of, I make the shape that creates the glute to engage, because if you're in this shape and you contract your glute, you actually go backwards. Okay, you do the opposite of what you want to do, which is again why we want hip extension based gait. Your knee straightens or you stand up tall in your running. So you're step through the heel. And that's one of the reasons why we walk backwards. So soft toes, heel down. Oh, we made the shape of glute engagement. Soft toes, heel down. Oh, that's the shape of glute engagement. Happy hip hack, shape of glute engagement. Walking with the tire, shape of glute engagement. So you're just playing around with making the correct shape of glute engagement. When we do, what do they used to call them? Happy penguins. You can lie on your back and sort of contract your glute, contract and straighten your leg, contract and straighten your leg. But that's the shape of a happy, healthy glute engagement. And what we want to do is any rehab or strengthening that you do, you want to then take that across with you into your movement and make it relevant so that your body has access to it. But those are some thoughts on why you might not be activating your glutes. And the other one is, I do this quite a bit. Well, I really respond to it. We do the mermaid, which is eye and neck movements and unwind your neck. And if I unwind my neck, my glute engagement generally gets better. And then again, tire walking, absolutely love tire walking. I don't have a tire here in England. It's tea and no tire for a week, for a long weekend. But tire walking is fantastic. And what I've been playing around with is actually rucking. So wearing a rucking vest and walking with a tire, which is a fantastic way to strengthen your hips in a gait specific pattern. But very, very few exercises strengthen your hips in a gait specific pattern. One of the exercises we love is single arm hip swings. So you'll put your foot up on a bench and then curtsy and swing with a kettlebell. And that'll do, if you're watching there, that's your gait specific. Shoulder away from hip away from the ground. You're basically standing up tall into hip extension. So really try and think about glute activation as a shape. And that might help you.